Hello Internet, my name is the Golden Stalfos and we're going to talk about Elden Ring again. Everyone's favorite game this month because no one can just enjoy something because they enjoy it. They have to enjoy it because it's new and everyone else is talking about it. For the record, this is the last time I'm going to talk about this game for a while because it's kind of bad. And I'm going to spend this whole video talking about why it's bad. Now, first and foremost, Elden Ring is literally just built in the Dark Souls 3 engine, so every problem that Dark Souls 3 had, Elden Ring has, except for the level design and the absolutely useless magic and faith builds that were a big problem in Dark Souls 3. In Elden Ring, they've overbalanced magic, and now it's way OP again, the way it was in the first game and Demon's Souls, and that sucks. Can we just have balanced, usable magic like we did in Dark Souls 2? Why is that so hard? Whatever. But it also has its own whole list of problems. First of all, as mentioned before, it's buggy. I don't know how long all of these bugs are going to last, but some of them seem kind of baked in. A lot of them have to do with input. So one, there's noticeable input dropping problems. Now, a lot of times when playing the Souls games, it seems like inputs are being dropped because of the way actions are being queued. This is not what I'm talking about. Unless the action queuing system works completely differently than it does before, which it might. But for example, frequently I'll press the button to switch between my weapons and it doesn't switch. It just doesn't do the animation. It just doesn't switch. And then when I go to use my thing, I'm using the wrong thing and get fucked. This is especially noticeable in situations where this action previously would have been queued. For example, when climbing ladders, switching between weapons is a queued action. And in this game, it just isn't. You press the button while you're climbing up the ladder, and the little light flashes on the screen to indicate that it knows you pressed the button, and then you get to the top of the ladder and you don't switch your weapon. Nothing happens. This also might be partially connected to the fact that toggling your weapons uses the left and right buttons on the D-pad, and so does toggling between messages and bloodstains that are stacked on top of each other in the world. They've made it so that now that takes priority over your weapons. So if you happen to be in an area where a bunch of people have died recently, or a bunch of people are leaving messages, or both, then as you're walking around, you will just randomly lose the ability to toggle between your weapons because there are too many messages or bloodstains on the ground, which is really dumb and not a thing you had to deal with in previous games. Jesus Christ. Also, the process for two-handing is just a little bit slower than it used to be, so two-handing weapons is just a little bit more inconvenient than it used to be, which can be a problem at times. And also, if you try to use a stance-related move too quickly after entering your stance, you just won't. You'll just do a regular move instead. And that also really sucks. Also, the animations for being out of Estus or using a spell when you don't have any FP are way too goddamn long. They take literally twice as long as the regular animation for casting a spell or using Estus, which should not be the case. That's way too much of a punish for that, and you can't roll or move or do anything during that animation. And I understand that FromSoft wants to punish you for forgetting to manage your resources and shit. I respect that, but it was never this long in any of the previous games. This is too long. What is wrong with you? Oh, another problem that has persisted from previous games that needs to be called out in particular. Actions queue off of getting hit. So if you press the attack button or the roll button and it doesn't go off because you're in the middle of getting hit, then as soon as you're done getting hit, you do an attack or a roll in the wrong direction for no reason because that action got queued off of you getting hit, which is the most stupid thing possible because that is just going to punish you again. Stop. Stop putting that feature in your games, Miyazaki. It's bad. Everyone hates it. It's fine to queue off of other things, but taking damage should not be a part of the queue. Stop it. Alright, now let's talk about some more fundamental design stuff. The game is not balanced at all. As mentioned previously, magic builds are busted AF. So there's that. But also, just in general, the game doesn't understand the concept of balance, even worse than normal. See, in order to make any progress through the game, you have to like explore huge amounts of space and go a really far way from the main story path to grab specific things. And if you don't know where those specific things are or what the best way to get to them is, this is a long, tedious process that you will get bored of and stop doing. So you'll be underpowered and underleveled, and that sucks. I mean, once you know where to go for all the places, you can make a really busted build in like an hour or two, like just real quick before you even fight any of the major bosses. Just go around, bleed the dragon, get all this shit. Lots of people have made videos about how to do that. It's fun. I get it. I respect that. But you shouldn't have to do that in order to have a fighting chance. You should be able to level up and get good gear and stuff just by going through the main areas that the game tells you are important to the story, right? Like, that's what balance is. And you can't do that. You just can't. Like, if you restrict yourself to only visiting the areas that happen before Godric and not going into Caelid because it looks like hell and is scary, you will not be leveled up enough to fight Godric. You will not have high enough grade gear to fight Godric. You will be garbage. You can do literally every single dungeon and every single quest in Limgrave and Stormvale and the Weeping Peninsula and all of that. All of those beginning areas. You can get like all 60 or so of the bonfires. You can complete all 20 different sub-dungeons and kill every enemy and every field boss and everything. And you will be weak. You will not have a high level of power compared to what you're expected to have when you fight Godric. Which is fucking dumb. And I know because I did that and like I was barely in the 40s on my levels. And that is technically enough to face Godric. Like I had a decently upgraded weapon because you can get a +7 spear just from killing patches, which I wouldn't recommend because that locks you out of the best armor in the game and the spear isn't a very good weapon. You can just upgrade something else. And it is worth noting that in order to find all of the dungeons to explore, you will have to look up a guide because they are not obvious. Some of them are, but a lot of them are, just hidden behind on the other side of a cliff that you didn't even know you could get up on. So in the end, we're left with a situation where, if you go around and explore all of the starting areas where you expect the starting shit to be, you're not going to be powerful enough to do this main story stuff. You're just not. Like, if you're really good at Souls games and really experienced, and you've put more than 3,000 hours into this franchise over the last few years like I have, you'll still get your fucking ass handed to you by every major story boss over and over and over again. Like I did. I beat Gwyn with a fucking Evelyn, and I got my ass handed to me by these starting bosses over and over again. Once you know the fight and you've got some decent equipment, they're real easy. Not gonna bullshit on that. Once you've got some decent gear, you can kill Godric first try, whatever. But if you don't know where to get all of the best gear, and if you don't go out of your way to visit the high level areas that gear is hiding in and upgrade it, you're just gonna get fucked. And that is some bullshit. Now that said, once the wikis have actually got all the information in them and you've beaten the game a couple of times, you know where shit is, you can make decent builds pretty early on, as long as you're willing to spend an hour or two running around the map, collecting shit, not fighting anything, not engaging with the core gameplay loop, and not having fun so that you can, be ready to have fun with the game. Because that's good game design and good game balance. That's what makes this the most accessible Souls game ever. It's not accessible if you need a strategy guide to find the useful shit and be able to get past the absurd difficulty cliff. If experienced players who have played literally every game that this company has produced and beaten all of them multiple times and even done challenge runs in all of them multiple times are having a hard time with the early bosses, you fucked your shit up. And again, I'm not the best Souls player. I'm not even that good, right? Like, I have absolutely no room to talk with other people who are actually good at this game. Like, you watch Squilla or Lobos or something like that, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, how do you even, what is wrong? What? I'm not one of those people. I can't even remotely compare to those people. But I should be able to get past the first fucking boss of the game without tearing my hair out because of his goddamn bullshit. You know, if I can do a level 1 run multiple times in Dark Souls 1 and I can get past Gwyn with a bow or a crossbow even, which by the way, crossbows are worse than bows. They don't have scaling, and the load times, the reload times, oh my god. Like, at least with the bow, you can get a shot off every time you parry him, but not with the Evelyn. But if someone can do that and still come into the first fight with Margit and be like, Jesus Christ, this is too much, then it's too fucking much. You shouldn't have to be Squilla to get through that fight. Normal people do not have 3,000 hours of Souls experience. And, like, even those who do can struggle with this shit. And, like, I'm focusing on the early fights because that's the shit that should be easiest. It's a totally different discussion to talk about how bullshit Radahn is. And it is bullshit. Don't get me wrong. That fight is complete horse crap. But it's just a different conversation. Alright, the last thing I want to bitch about, because this video is getting to be way too long and my girlfriend's going to hate me, is the level design. Now, individual areas like Lydell or Stormreach are beautifully designed. There's so much going on. There's so many levels. It's so good. But the spacing between those areas is a fucking travesty. There's just so much empty space where there's nothing happening and you just run around on a horse, and it's just like, why, man? Why? You didn't need to do this in any of your previous titles. You didn't even need to do this in Sekiro, which is all about exploring a big area and sneaking around and shit. Like, why is it open world? Nobody asked for open world Dark Souls. Literally, everyone was like, hey, Miyazaki, you know that moment when we come down from the fucking elevator from the parish and go to Firelink and it's just like, holy shit, this whole area is interconnected. This is amazing. That moment, we wanted more of that. That's the only thing we've ever asked for from your level design, and we've never gotten any more of it, and I don't understand why. Literally, everyone who has ever talked about these games keeps asking for more moments like that, more interconnected, intricately designed levels, and you decided to go open world. Fuck you, Miyazaki. Fuck you. Fuck open world games. I hate them. I hate them so goddamn much. I shouldn't have to collect map pieces so that I can see where the fuck I'm going. Stop it. I'm fucking sick and tired of open world games. Assassin's Creed was cool for a couple of games, and now it's fucking done. Can we stop having open world games, please? It has been so goddamn long since we got tired of that shit, okay? I just cannot express this enough, that open world games started in the PS2 era, and we have never stopped having them. They're just everywhere, all the time. I'm fucking tired of it, alright? Like, I don't need every fucking game to feel like Far Cry. I don't want that. Fuck Far Cry. Fuck Ubisoft. Can we just move on from this shit now, please? Does this have to infect every fucking genre? Does everything have to become an open world? Fuck it. I didn't want open world Zelda. I didn't want open world Mario. I don't want open world Pokemon or Kirby or fucking Dark Souls. Stop it. I don't want any more open world games. They're bad. They're not fun. They take so much more effort to develop and they're less fun. Stop it. Watch them announce that Prime 4 is open world now. I wouldn't fucking put it past them. All we have ever asked for from the Dark Souls level design is to be more like the first half of Dark Souls 1, where everything was interconnected and it was very Metroid-esque and it was great. And all we have ever gotten is more and more linear sections that barely, if ever, overlap with each other, usually connected to a hub area that you can teleport to. And now an open world game. Fun. I'm just so sick and tired of this shit. So yeah, all of that plus all of the shit I talked about in Dark Souls 3 being bad, garbage level boss design, the weird focus on R1 spams, even though the game isn't built for R1 spams and doesn't have the mechanics that made that make sense in Bloodborne. And also, I didn't even like it in Bloodborne. It kills the replay value. This game doesn't really have that problem as much because there's viable builds that don't involve straight sword R1 spams, but you're still going to end up doing that a lot. The multiplayer is fun, I guess. I don't know, I don't like that you have to use a consumable item to gain access to it all the time, and that is not communicated to the player at all. I was trying to co-op with my friends and I couldn't figure out why we couldn't see each other's signs, and it's because we weren't fucking using the consumable that it doesn't tell you need. And I guess that's not that different from having to use humanity or embers in previous titles, but that was at least communicated to the player visually, you could tell that you weren't human. But other than that, multiplayer's good. There's random disconnect issues and the network isn't super stable and shit, but whatever. That might get patched, who knows. I'll still probably play the game a lot because there's a lot to enjoy if you can push past the bad shit, but the bad shit just makes it so much harder to enjoy the good shit. And it gets in the way of the good shit, and it brings down the whole experience. I wanted to love this game. I wanted it to be the new peak of the series, and it's not. I mean, at least it's better than Dark Souls 3, but was that a high bar to clear? Come on. Whatever. Maybe the fact that this game doesn't have the word Souls in its name will make people stop calling the franchise Soulsborne. That'd be nice. That's a dumb name. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next life. Laters. Also, be sure to leave tons of comments telling me why I'm wrong and Elden Ring is actually the best game ever made, actually. Because it's literally just Dark Souls 3, but open world. Woo. I mean, it is kind of the best game ever because it has a double jumping horse. You can forgive a lot for a game that has a double jumping horse, but not this much. So, yeah. Solid, 6 out of 10. Laters. Hey, Endcard here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Seriously though, please subscribe. I have no subscribers. It's sad. If you want to find me on other social media stuff, you can do that at the Golden Stalfos on basically everything. Links to that are in the description, as well as to some charities I like but am obviously not affiliated with. I also have a Patreon if you like me so much that you want to give me money, though obviously only do that if you have money to burn, and if you do have money to burn, they're the charities I mentioned before. They probably need it more than I do. Mad ups to my girlfriend for doing all the editing for these videos. It's a really big help. Oh, and I occasionally stream on Twitch, so follow me there so you don't miss it. I don't have a formal schedule because when I tried to have a formal schedule, I couldn't keep to it. So, oh well. Okay, thanks, bye!